Well, this is the guy from Pittsburgh, and I just heard one of the most ridiculous and embarrassing segments of Snorri I think I've ever heard in his 10 years of broadcasting. I mean, the man is pathetic. He has Shirley McLaine on, and I've read Shirley's books, I've seen her movies, I like the woman. But for God's sakes, he has her on when she's got a horrible cold, She's hacking her guts out practically. And does Snorge have the common sense to let her go get a Halls? Or an inhaler? Or a cup of tea? No, he keeps the mic on while she's in the background. He's talking in open lines to some guy. And Shirley's back there hacking her guts out. I'm surprised somebody didn't call 911 in New Mexico for her, and Smokey the Bear showed up with an oxygen tank. George Noory has no sense. That's why people wonder, why do you hate George Noory? They say it to me. They say it to people on Belgab. Hi, Belgabbers. And Snorri blames it on radio gremlins. Tonight it's radio gremlins. Everything's going wrong. No, they're going wrong because you're an idiot, George. You don't have any sense to cut the woman off. Let her either recover or come back another night. Go to open lines. Go to a commercial. When someone's sick on the air, you don't leave the mic open. Let the whole world know. Oh, Shirley McLaine's back up. That's what the poor woman was doing. It's ridiculous. I couldn't listen to anymore. The man's a total fool and an idiot. And he's got a granddaughter that posts on Belgab. I wouldn't admit that I was his granddaughter if I were female. That would be an embarrassment. I don't know how old she is. But can you imagine if she's still in non-college school to go to school every day and, your granddaddy is George Noory. Ha 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 ha. He's a real idiot. He's a jerk. And worse. And another thing. It's a separate issue, but I do wish people, when they leave comments on my videos, would try to keep the language down, because there might be kids watching my videos, and I don't want the parents mad at me. And of course, another thing, before Shirley, George is reading stories about coal miners dying in Colorado. I don't get that at all. What does that have to do with the paranormal? He had a thing about the Maven mission to Mars. And I guess he's thrown Richard C. Hoagland, the official coast-to-coast science advisor, under the bus. Because tonight he had a Mars expert. I don't know who this guy was. He could have been Marvin the Martian for all I know. But I guess he's mad that Richard showed loyalty to Art Bell, so bye-bye, Richard C. Hoagland, and thank you for answering my emails. So, and the other thing George did was talk about, what the hell was it? Oh, God, you know what? Your brain dulls when you listen to George Noory. You get to the point you can't even remember what he was talking about. So, anyway, that's, every time I listen to the man, I have to clean out my brain with a fire hose in my ears, so my brain will reset back to normal. I gotta either kill something on the computer or go and drink some eggnog with booze in it, or some brandy or cognac or something to detox. I mean, I'm surprised there isn't a 12-step program for former George Noory listeners who've almost lost their minds listening to him night after night. And I just can't believe it. The guy talks about angels, demons, asteroids. He brought up the Twilight Zone. Oh, now I remember what it was. I knew I would remember it sooner or later. He brought up a creepy story. Because anytime George Noory brings up creepy kid stories, it's always creepy. About how kids under 2, doctors have determined they shouldn't be allowed to use computers or iPads or anything with a screen. And for once, I got to agree with 9 out of 10 doctors. Because the 10th doctor, he's probably not agreeing with this at all. There's always one doctor that doesn't agree with all these doctors, you know. That goes back to the days of smoking commercials on TV when it were in the magazines, when it was 9 out of 10 doctors agree or believe. I never did figure out where the 10th doctor was. Probably out getting a sandwich or something at 7-Eleven, maybe with Noory and Tommy. But anyway, I think this is a good thing because I would not want little 2-year-old kids or younger to be blinded for life. They get on the internet, they get a tablet, and suddenly they click on a picture and there's George Noory and Tommy stare them in the face. And it might be even worse. They'd have their whole sexual orientation destroyed because they'd see Tommy in drag dressed as Marilyn Monroe. That would scare the hell out of any little kid. Might turn his hair white at the age of 2, wouldn't it? He doesn't have any hair in his head and it turned it white already. One little hair and it turned it gray. He saw Tommy dressed in drag. So once again, it's another classic segment show, another classic split show. But it may be split, son. It made me split my sense of incredulity because I couldn't listen anymore, and I hope you didn't either. I turned the radio off, and now I got a snory-free zone for the rest of the night. This is the guy from Pittsburgh. Hope you have a great evening. I hope you're not in Illinois where a tornado hit, and in Michigan where tornadoes hit and killed people and did a hell of a lot of damage. I feel for those people, and I'll be praying for them. And got a guy back there in Coal City or whatever it is. I can't remember the thing about looking at the envelope. So got a buddy back there, and I asked him if he was well, and he is. So I'm glad of that. Of course, he lives in another place that don't exist at Peoria, just like that Jesmundo, and him in Australia. We know that doesn't exist either. I noticed today that he's been totally absent in Belgab, which is suspicious. He must be down in Antarctica training with the penguins for a special commando raid because the Art Bell Cat Army rescued Art Bell from Jasmundo's spare bedroom. And we know that in all things, no matter what it is, Art leaving the air, George Noory taking over Art's slot on Sirius, and yes, I know it wasn't the time, but he still took his channel over, that it's all Jasmunda's fault. And so that's what I got to say tonight. Rain's coming here, rain's in Sacramento, and it went down to feed the cats, and it's very, very cold up there tonight, for the Bay Area anyway. So stay warm, stay safe, and listen to those tornado sirens and those weather warnings, because tornadoes are not a good thing. But they're certainly better than listening to Noory for 4 hours. All right, catch you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.